Hello, people. I would assume if you've seen the title of this video, um, you either think it's some kind of joke or something quite hideous. I imagine most of you know Ragz. He's been around this stream pretty much since it started. And we talk occasionally on WhatsApp. And the other day he told me he was dying. So what's happening?
What's happening? Well, at Christmas I was taking in Shirko in the feet, which is a diabetic condition.
You've had diabetes for a while, haven't you?
Yes, this is just part of diabetes, and it's a hollowing of the blood vessels in the bones, and then your feet just break. Just step out of bed, crack, broken toe. Um, but since I've diabetic neuropathy, I didn't feel it, so I've been walking about for weeks with broken feet, and
Hang
then
on, you've got diabetic neuropathy,
yes,
and is that I'm just based on what you just said, you've got no feeling in your feet.
no feeling in my feet, and about 6 inches up my ankles, up my legs.
So any sort of slight bumps, or like if I was to stub my toe, it'd hurt. But if
Yeah.
you stub your toe, you'll likely break a couple of bones.
I broke the metatarsal in my right foot, the long bone that connects your big toe to your foot, and it twisted. So my toe was sitting sideways, and then it got septus in it.
And this is so you've been living with diabetes for a long time. You've got back problems from a very serious motorbike accident you had when you were younger.
Yes,
Rags used to ride like, what is it, like TT racing? I don't know a lot about. It's road
short,
racing, isn't it?
circuit racing and motocross.
You know when you see them like leaning down and their knees are like half inch from the tarmac, and you flew off one of those bikes and went through the air about 100 meters or something. And
Yeah, back myself.
yeah, it wrecked you, didn't it?
Yeah,
How long? How long were you? How long did it take them to put you back together?
2 years.
Right. And how long ago was that?
I was 34. I'm 54 now.
So yeah, so about 20 years. Okay. And how long have you known about the diabetes?
I've had diabetes now for about 4 or 5 years.
Okay. So you start. The first you know about this, you dying, is your toes turn 90 degrees. Your toe now is pointing outwards or inwards, but not up as it should be.
Yes.
So, did you seek some kind of medical advice? Was that the first?
I went to a doctor, took my socks and shoes off. He handed me a letter and said, "Go straight to the hospital. Do not pass go. Don't go to the reception." He says, "Just go straight into the A&E and hand them that letter." So next minute, I was in a bed, um, and I was sent up to a ward where a lady
Did,
from
did
the
you
diet.
did you have a look at the letter or anything, or were you just
No,
thinking,
no,
okay,
they never mentioned the cirrhosis, the liver cirrhosis, until
oh, okay,
um, I was in December over Christmas for the feet, and then I was back in at the end of January.
hang on, that was my fault for interrupting you. So you've gone with your letter and you've gone straight to A&E and you've handed them the letter. What happened then?
They put me in casts. I've cast in both feet to put the bones back in the right places.
And,
Usually,
and potentially to stop them getting more damaged.
yeah, to stop them getting more damaged. Um, there's a woman in Belfast that's a specialist, and she likes to do it naturally by getting the bones to knit back together again. And then the other specialist in Belfast, in the Royal Victoria, they call him Mr. Meccano. He just likes to screw you back together again. So they wanted to go the the natural route first. And if it doesn't work, we go with him. And if it doesn't work, they take the feet off. So
They cut your feet off.
yes,
Right. So you're an alcoholic. You
yeah.
certainly have been since I've known you. When you're talking about things like, I know a load of alcoholics who've had like a leg cut off or something. Did they? What are you thinking when they're, you know, putting both your legs in casts?
I'm fucked.
Did they tell you anything? Did they sort of say, "Look, this is what's happening"?
They said it's diabetic Charcot. They said it happens to a small percentage of people with diabetes. It's fixable, it's treatable. And then they put me in casts and meds and this, that, and the other. But when it comes to February time, I'm going back and forth every 2 weeks, getting new casts on, feet x-rayed, new casts on, feet x-rayed, and everything's going great. And the feet are knitting back together again.
How are you feeling at this point? Are you scared? Or are you just, are you thinking, okay, I know it's diabetes. They've said it's treatable. I'm going to have to go through this long and boring process of casts. I'll get through it, and life will be back to normal.
When you go through diabetes, they send you for bloods every 6 weeks. They also do a liver function test every 6 weeks. And that was coming back. The less I was drinking, the better my liver was getting. The liver heals itself. So when I got into the hospital, they put me in a hospital bed, and I had a lovely, I think she was from Thailand, doctor,
Stop it.
doctor lady, and great English, explained everything, but very blunt and to the point.
Rags, sorry to keep interrupting. I thought the liver was one of the only organ that doesn't repair itself.
No, it's the only organ that does repair itself.
Okay. I mean, I'm no doctor
So
of medicine.
they had been monitoring me for about a week in hospital, and it was bloods in the morning, it was bloods at night, it was bloods in the morning, it was bloods at night, and about 2 days later, or 2 days before they released me, her and the main doctor came to me and said, "Stephen, you've got cirrhosis." And I went, "Right, what does that mean?" It says, "Cirrhosis of the liver." It says it's a mixture of alcohol and the medication you were on for the diabetes. And if my sister looked through the side effects of the diabetic meds, it says may cause liver damage, may cause liver damage, may cause liver damage because of the makeup of the actual medicine. So 2 days before I was meant to be released, they didn't even take me into a special room or a quiet room. I just came on.
Hang on. Are these the meds you've been taking for your diabetes
For years.
for years, not the new ones? Okay,
Yeah.
right. So a
So
combination of that and boozing has given you cirrhosis of the liver.
even if I hadn't been drinking, I would have still ended up with cirrhosis.
Right. Why am I saying psoriasis? They're different things, are they?
Psoriasis
Cirrhosis.
is your skin. Skin,
It's all looks like elephant skin, doesn't it?
yeah,
And that's a
flakes
different
off.
thing. Okay.
Cirrhosis.
Cirrhosis.
Cirrhosis of the liver. It's a hardening and fattening of the liver.
Okay. Ah, that's right. So it blows up.
Yeah.
It enlarges, distends.
If you
Sorry,
reach
go
under
on.
your if you reach under your right rib cage, you'll feel an organ, and that is your liver. That sits under there.
Yeah.
Most people
Okay.
will be soft. Most people will be soft, firm. Mine's is as hard as a rock because it's
You can
cirrhosis.
You can feel that. You can feel a hard.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So it's ended up now that they said you have an 80% chance of lasting a year or a 60% chance of lasting 2 years. If you stick to these diets and this, that, and the other, you might get a bit longer. So they left me to sort of stew with that there for a while.
I
So,
interrupted you, but you said they didn't take you into a private room or anything. They just dropped this on you in like a consultation room or something
no, in the middle of the ward,
in the ward.
yes,
Okay.
the liver had created that much fluid within the abdomen that they stuck a needle. Oh, take your side and then measure it right to your belly button.
Yeah, right. And you're a bigger lad than me, so yeah, like a javelin.
Yeah, like a javelin. And they do a scan, that ultrasound scan to make sure they're not going to touch any blood vessels or veins or anything like that there. And they take this needle and they slide it in, and then they have a bag on the end of it, and it fills up with this fluid that's inside your abdomen. And they said,
And
listen,
you're on a local anaesthetic, so you're seeing this happen. You're
oh,
just
I'm
what?
watching it. I'm watching them panic and because things are overflowing and they're running about and it's all over the floor. Um, your woman says, this will take about 6 hours. And the wee nurse goes, I don't think so, because the 2 litre bag's full already. She says, go and get a lot of urinals. So that the paper urinal things they use in the
Yeah,
hospitals.
yeah, yes, I do.
She was
Unfortunately,
coming back and forth with them non-stop. And they took 14 and a half litres or something out of my stomach of fluid. And I went from 120 kilos to 99 kilos, which is about a loss of 3 stone. That
say
was
those
just,
numbers again.
it was 100, 118, 119 kilos down to
Yeah.
99 kilos, which is
So
about,
you lost about 20 kilo of liquid.
yes,
What are you thinking? They said anything? Right, so they'd already given you your 60% and your 20%
yes.
of this. So, and then they're straight on to just doing this. What are you thinking? Because this is your life. You know,
At that time, Chris, to be honest, I was panicking. You
yeah,
know,
it's understandable.
all I could think of was kids, the family, stuff like that there. Uh, Thought seeing them grow up, getting married, having kids of their own, things like that. And you go through that, was it the 5 stages of grief? Um, then that stage went really, really quickly. And it just turned to anger. Why me? You know, I've got this new wee place here and I'm settled and everything's going well. And, I'm in here 4 or 5 months or something. And next month they drop this bombshell on you. And you think to yourself, I put 2.5 grand's worth of flooring in there. And I'm not going to fucking see it. You know, just first thing come to my head was money. Um, you know, not being able to see my daughter and stuff. Things like that there. And
It, it's so massive, isn't it? It's just. I don't want to get into this too much because this is your story to tell, but we just don't have. Death has been pushed so far out of our culture when it inevitably lands, and admittedly, this is a lot earlier than you'd have hoped, of course.
yes,
We just don't know how to process it,
no, we
and
don't.
they've told you that. oh, by the way, you could be dead in 6 months anyway. We've now got to just jab a needle into you and panic about not having enough containers for the liquid.
Yeah, basically. Well, the health service here's gone to the dogs. Like, but when my mum's time in the health service, they would have taken you maybe into the chaplain and told you you're at your end of life. You know, when we were younger, mum used to tell us, from the moment you're born, you're dying. And you sort of you thought about it for a while, and you thought, so, yeah, you are, because you're only going to get 60, 70, maybe 80 years. Is it four score and 10? 80 years, and then you're gone. And you never think about it. You go off motorcycle racing, you go off raising families, you go off working the dangerous jobs, this, that, and the other, and you never crosses your mind. And it's only when a doctor comes and tells you that's your time.
And that it's so out the blue. I was talking to someone earlier, and you've heard me talk about it before, but when we were kids, we were read European fairy stories that were about death,
Yes.
about revenge, about deception, all those things that kids need to learn about. But that's all been removed from our culture now. Here is an iPad. Watch some American woman dancing with animations or whatever. So you're on the bed and you're thinking, I mean, speak to me. What's going on? What were you?
I oh, the last time I cried was when Peter Hempel died. We were about 7 years old. He was shot in the face, and I cried for about 3 days straight. I was inconsolable. And then after that, I never cried. Didn't matter who it was. Grandfather passed away. Didn't, just stood there stone faced. Other grandfather passed away. Stood there stone faced. Uncle Kevin went. Granny went. Next granny went. Then my dad went. Then my mum went. And I stood at the graveside, stone faced.
Yeah, that's how I've responded to.
Um, and you feel as if you want to, and you know you should, because apparently it's a great release, but you just can't bring yourself to it, you know. And I'm telling the sister and all there, see what I have, well, when you're putting me in the ground, see if I catch any of you crying. I'll slap you. Here's the music I want played, AC/DC, go down, hell ain't a bad place to be, that sort of thing. I'm making jokes about it because that's the way I've always been, just the joker,
Yeah, I know.
But lying here at
So
night,
what's the most pessimistic? A few months.
some of the nurses and another junior doctor had come. That we junior doctor says, Mister Thingy, such and such Fatel doesn't have a real great bedside manner, but he is a great doctor. And I went, no shit, Sherlock, dropping that on me. But he says, I've had an uncle who was diagnosed with the same thing, and he lasted 15 years. Then one of the nursery carers that come into me in the morning, they were uninformed that now I'm terminal. So the care package changes. And she goes, my grandfather was the same. He was told he had a year left, and he lasted 12. Lived till he was 78 or 79 or something. And I think, well, if I could get to that, I'd be fine. I wouldn't want much more than that. Just to make sure I see everybody growing up and doing their thing. Then I have to tell the kids. I'm down the steps in Australia. phone went silent, and all I could hear was him crying in the background, which hurt me more than anything else. I didn't want them to suffer, but it's just one of those things. He says, I'm saving up, I'm coming across, I look after you when I'm over. The brother, he's gone sort of really, really quiet. He's coming across, he's looking after me. The sister's back and forward here. She's working a full-time job and she's finishing work and she's coming in. And she's doing this, that, and the other for me. My ex Lynn, she's doing the same stuff.
You stopped drinking, haven't you?
Yes.
And are you on this sort of that they've given you diet plans and what to eat, what not to eat?
I have high protein diet. And it's high protein diets to level out the chemical imbalances in the body. And I haven't felt better in years.
You look. The mad thing is, you haven't looked better. You look younger than I've ever seen you.
Yeah. I've lost all the fat around the swelling around the face. I've lost,
What do you think? What do you think? Do you think? I mean, it's a ridiculous question because it's based on. And I don't want this to sound flippant, but it's. I guess it's just based on how you are at that moment. Like, if they've said it could be a matter of months, it could be a matter of months. But if they've said people have got 10, 15 years out of it, it could be 10, 15 years.
Yes.
Is there any point where, like, remission, where they could say to you, there's signs of positivity? Or is it just something that one day might take you?
I think it's just got to the stage where it can't be reversed. And I still have to take the same diabetic medicines, which give you the cirrhosis in the first place. So you're just feeding the cirrhosis beast. Yeah.
I mean, paracetamol are liver toxic.
Yes.
So many medications are liver toxic.
The liver itself, every time I went for my bloods every 6 weeks, it always came back and the doctor would say, liver's improving, Stephen, liver's improving, liver's improving. A few weeks later down the line, I'm in the hospital and now you have cirrhosis of the liver, Stephen. And you think to yourself, you've been telling me for months the liver's improving, it's healing, it's great. It's a bit fatty, yes, but it's doing well. Then a couple of days in hospital and you have two doctors telling you, no, it's fucked. You think to yourself, is it me or is it the National Health Service? Or are they just telling you that to cover their own arse because they know the meds is actually giving you liver cirrhosis? And they never seem to mention it.
What are your days like? What are your days like? No, this is this is the big one, isn't it? It's coming. We all, like you said, we're born and you will die. But to receive that sort of news, and I know you spend a lot of time on your own. You said you've got family and friends and exes visiting you, but what are you like in yourself? How are you coping with this? Because I think I'd lose my fucking mind.
I'm at that point of acceptance. There's nothing I can do about it. It's happening. So when the carers come in the morning and sort me out, I'm bedbound with these legs. well, because I can't put weight on them and stuff, which adds to it, Chris, because, you know, if I just had the liver thing, I could be out driving, going, doing shopping, visiting mates, doing whatever I wanted. But I can't because I have this on me, these things on my feet. So I'm stuck in bed all the time. And during the week there you have cares and half an hour in the morning, 15 minutes at lunch, 15 minutes at dinner, and 15 minutes at bedtime. They call it bedtime calls, but 8 o'clock. Um, and then you have all the rest of the day to sit and have whirling around your head.
And whereas previously you'd have been drinking, so that time probably feels like a lot longer, like a whole evening,
I
just
go,
like.
they give me sleeping tablets, and it says take them half an hour before you go to bed, and you'll be gone within half an hour. Now, I took them same sleeping tablets last night, 9 o'clock, and I was still staring at the ceiling at 4 o'clock in the morning.
What are they, Zopiclone or something? Or don't you know?
Something like that.
Is it a
Yeah.
Z drug, basically? Does it begin
Zed.
with a Z?
Yeah.
Yeah, we call them Z drugs. I think they're a hypnotic. The problem with them, I mean, you've got bigger problems, but even when they put you under, it's not proper sleep. They've just put you under. Fucking hell, man.
But even at that, even when I take the recommended dosage and all, and they say take one or two at night, and I took one, did nothing. Next night I took 1.5, it did nothing. The next night I took two, and it done nothing. The last night I took two, and I was still staring at the ceiling at 4 o'clock in the morning.
With your head going round and round and
And
round.
right, it never stops. And the only time I get distracted is if somebody in visiting and they're making jokes and laughing and carrying on, you know. So, or I'm live with Sense in the Night, 7, and that there to me, that hour stream is now an escape for me. I done one with Bootneck last week, but and I felt a lot better after the stream, and I did go to sleep a lot quicker. Hopefully, with Sense in the Night, it'll be the same. I'll do the stream with Sensum, watch a movie, and then just nod off. But I can't be streaming every night of the week.
Sensum helps me sleep when I listen to him streaming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Rags, what you might die. Like,
Yes.
you might die. I know I keep bringing it up, but
Well, it comes to it's all, Chris, you know. It's just when you don't know about it and you're ripping through your life and you're out around the coast road there on a motorbike and some boy pulls out on you and that's you smack gone. You don't know anything about it. But then when you have two professional people tell you that's your time frame and you're like, you know,
I don't want to get philosophical about it, but you know, it's one of my biggest fears being told you could be dead in a year because I'm not sure that a human is able to cope with that. Like
yeah,
you say, we all die. I'm going to die. It could be tomorrow, like you say, it could be hit by a car. I could eat something out here. But not knowing is a gift, isn't it?
yes,
And you know, even if I was to make it to something like 70 or whatever, I can only guess because I'm not 70, but I'd sort of imagine, right, I'm at that age now where if something doesn't feel right and I go to the doctors, they may say yeah, this doesn't look good, son. But
Yes.
at 50, at 54, I mean, I'm 53. We're about the same age. I'd just be like, no, I'm not ready. I'm just not ready. I got there's things I want to do.
Yeah.
This is my life.
That's the way I felt at the start. That things I want to do. I want to see kids grow up. I want to see grandchildren. I want to see this, that, and the other things I want to do, places I want to see, stuff like that. There, and I'll never get to do it now. So
How confident? How optimistic are you that you might get like 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years? What do you think? And I know you haven't got a lot to base it on, apart from just the odd doctor saying, "Oh, I knew someone. I knew someone."
yeah, well, there's loads of people who've said to me, um, and then the sister even pointed out one of our relatives was diagnosed the same thing years and years ago, and they lasted 8 or 9 years beyond their given time. They switched their diets and they did this, that, and the other, and they started walking and they started doing swimming, and they lasted 8 years more.
I
And
mean, I don't like to drop the C bomb, but it seems like a cuntish thing to say to someone that you might have 5 months left when they don't know.
to be honest, Chris, I wish they'd never have told me.
Yeah, I can understand that. I can really understand that.
You wouldn't see it coming then.
Yeah.
One day you
You've
just
got
keel over. That's it. That's it.
There's something wrong with your liver. We're going to monitor it.
Yeah.
See you next month, sort of thing.
Yeah. We
Has it
wait like,
has it changed the way? I mean, I know you're kind of hobbled because you've got your legs in plaster, but has it changed the way you're approaching your days or anything, or are you still in a stage of just sort of? You say you've accepted it. I'm not saying you're lying, but do you feel like you really feel like you've accepted it?
yeah, I do what I mainly do, but just from the wheelchair. I can't do certain things, but I try to do my best around the house and empty dishwashers and um, say, cook healthy meals and um, try and keep the place clean and tidy, um, stuff like that there, and just keep my mind busy. You listen to a lot of music. That's playing all the time usually, or if I'm really down and sore or tired or whatever, I lie up in bed and flick on Netflix and watch a movie. You know, I think I've seen Jack Reacher about 15 times this week because I keep on falling asleep in the middle of it and missing the second half. Yeah, I have to watch that again.
Well, I don't really know what else to say. We just thought it would be a good way to announce this rather than mid stream. That makes no sense because so
Well, I'll go out to a lot of people, everybody will know, and then you don't have to explain yourself all the time. Oh, I didn't see you on this stream. I didn't see you on that stream. You were missing from here, and were you not? Um, John Palmer sends me links to streams, and I click on them, and they maybe start a couple of hours later or something. And by that time, I've either nodded off or I forget and I'm way off doing something. So, but he does. He likes to keep me in the loop. Um, but other than that, there it's just It's me, myself, and I. My sister will be around this afternoon. She'll cook or do lunch for me. She'll fart about here and clean and wipe and polish and stuff. And it's company. Even her doing her mad dash around the house and cleaning. She's always laughing and joking and telling silly stories about when we were kids and stuff. And I think that's the main part of it is what you leave behind. Memories. You know, remember when Stephen did this? Remember when Stephen did that? Remember the time you walked into the living room with a watch wrapped around his todger and nothing else on and said, "Have you got the time on you, cock?" You know?
All right, Rags, listen. I'll edit this up and get it out today. Well, we can talk about that after.
Yeah. Fire do what you want with it.
I'm not going to bore you with platitudes. I just hope you're around for a lot longer. That's all I hope.
No problem.
I'm not going to give you any advice. It's your life.
Yeah. I did consider going back to the drink and just ending myself in oblivion, you know. But no, I'd rather not do that.
Well, it is your life, but don't do that. No. But it is your life. All right. I might stream later. This will go out before that, though. So if you're around later, maybe I'll see you, maybe not.
Yep. Well, I'm on with Sensing from 7 to 8 this evening. I can't do an hour and a half anymore. It's just too much.
All right. You look after yourself. I'll catch up with you soon, Rags.
No problem, bud. Take care. See you later.
No, you take care. Ta-ra, mate.
Bye.
You came in my dream, kissed me, loved me. Tears of a baby roll down your cheek. Your eyes are wide, so look around. You've love to give, so get it out. Get it out anytime. Love sits beside me, I feel complete. You came in my dream, kissed me, loved me. Your eyes are wide, so look around. You've love to give, so get it out. Get